What's up, everybody, and welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. I just got done watching John Irizarry's video called Drugs Overtook Bodybuilding and It Needs to Stop. Now, I know John through Primeval. We were both teammates on Primeval. What's up, John? And I've always liked John. I like John. He's a good dude. And the title was like clickbaity. It caught me. You know, I said, let me see what John has to say about the situation, because I know he's doing a vegan-type lifestyle or plant-based lifestyle now and stuff, and has shifted kind of away from the competition thing, more into like a general health and fitness type thing, which is now becoming a trend. And I think that people are waking up in droves right now. They're snapping out of the drug-filled stupors and stuff that they were in, and they're starting to see some of the things that aren't really talked about. And I'm not sure why they're not talked about. I talked to Phil Herndon about it. It was actually on the video that I did in the interview with him. I talked to an individual this weekend that I'm close to who took drugs, steroids for 20 years. Great blood work, no blood pressure problems, no health problems. And his concern was still that even though everything came back, had a good echocardiogram, even though everything has come back fine and he's never had any issues, he's still worried about the damage that he did to his body. And I stepped back and I was like, really? And he said, yeah, absolutely. Like, I am absolutely worried that, you know, I'm this age right now. Average lifespan is this age. You know, I'm going to be there fast. Like, the years are just clicking by. Like, what if I shorten that span by the stuff that I took? Now, that same individual, much like John Irizarry and myself, if we were 20 years old, 18 years old, we don't think like that. You know, the problem is we're all getting to a certain age. I think about 33 to 35. So you really start thinking like that. By the time you hit 38, it's really starting to get into your mind. I think the longer that you do the gear, the longer the more it takes a toll on you. You start thinking about things. And if you've had bad side effects like blood pressure, cholesterol, you know, acne, hair loss, you know, look, I mean, fuck, not bald, just saying. But you start thinking about it as you get older, and you realize that, you know, as time starts ticking towards the end of your life, you don't want to run out of time. And you don't want to run out of time faster than you could. So you start thinking about, you know, the opiates and stuff that I did, the steroids, the partying with MDMA and stuff like that, that everybody says not a big deal, and you don't think about it in your 20s, and you very well could recover and be fine. But I'm actually absolutely confident that I took years off my life doing the stuff that I did. And right now, at 41, I don't regret that. But let's say I came down with something at 43 or 45, and it was directly related to those things I did that left me with a very short time that is going to take me from Aaron and Brady and the friends and stuff that I have now, my family members that are left. Would I think it's worth it? Talking to that individual this weekend who is 100% honest with me all the time, straightforward, straight shooting guy, I don't know. And it's making me actually feel pretty good to see guys like Mike Rashid, you know, John Irizarry, Mark Lobliner, you know, even Jay Cutler has come down in size from when he was competing because it's not that good to be that big. Like, it makes me feel good to see these guys downsizing so that if they have escaped health problems so far, hopefully they can escape health problems, or the damage that they've done is at least minimal. Because we do have people that have colitis that don't talk about it, that have had heart attacks that don't talk about it, that have had blood pressure problems, have diabetic problems, type 2 diabetes and stuff that have been brought on by different fucking drugs and, you know, being too heavy and fucking their insulin sensitivity up. There's been, I mean, you know, problems with people as far as what's not dementia, is it Alzheimer's or dementia, that they think may have been triggered or brought on by certain chemicals that were put in their body. You know, overall, the digestive issues that some people have, that I've seen people actually pull out of competitions and walk away from bodybuilding because they've fucked their digestive system up, force-feeding themselves for so many goddamn years and taking the gear on top of it, which, you know, there comes a point where they can't digest anything. And they're in a fucking doctor's office and they're getting test after test after test done, and everything's coming back like negative. They're like, we don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. Like, we don't know what to tell you to do except fucking stop eating, you know, these certain foods, which most of them are high-protein foods. They go on like a plant-based diet. You know, James Tiny Vest, he's coming down in body weight because of the issues that he's had. Yeah, everybody I know, honestly, that was a bigger guy that is a certain age, has been on the drugs for a long time, and is starting to see the people around him. But Phil Herndon's down to like 202 or something like that. He looks fantastic at 202. It's like a fucking perfect size for him. But, you know, and, you know, he's got cancer right now, which is not related to the drugs and stuff, but Phil takes really good care of himself with certain nutrients and eating a certain way. And, you know, I'm looking at it going, I think that as a whole, the fitness industry as a whole is really, really veering away from bodybuilding. And, you know, I hate to admit it because I love bodybuilding. It's what I started doing. It's what I've loved for the last 25, almost 30 years since I was, well, about 28 years. And I think really that everything is veering away from it because you're seeing more physique competitors, classic physique, which still not the healthiest thing in the world, to be honest with you. Bikini rather than figure and physique for women. Again, not the healthiest thing in the world, but still healthier. And I'm noticing that the people at these expos that are coming out in droves are people that are living the lifestyle. They're not people that are out there wanting to compete. I get shitloads of people asking me every day. They want me to train them. Jerry, do you take on people that don't compete? Yes, I take on more people that don't compete than compete now at this point. Less people are wanting to compete, and more people are just wanting to get in shape and live the lifestyle and look good and feel good than want to get on a stage, you know? So, I don't know, guys. It's, you know, it's coming to a crossroads where I think where things have been pushed so much. Drugs are such a big thing, and, you know, everybody's just shoving all these drugs in their body, and, you know, on the rise up when you're climbing the ladder, or you perceive that you're climbing that ladder to become a top bodybuilder or a famous bodybuilder or fucking Insta famous or whatever the fuck it is, as you're climbing that ladder, you don't think about that. Everything is new and you're growing and you're not seeing the side effects and stuff. But there's going to come a point where you've peaked. You've gotten to a certain size, you've gotten to a certain point, you know, maybe you don't have the genetics to turn pro and you take more and more and more drugs. And like our friend Anthony DeRezzo, Anthony didn't have the genetics to be pro. He fought his genetics with drugs and he killed himself with drugs. That's how he did it. And that's the God's honest truth. I know people that have kidney transplant. I mean, I didn't want to believe it because back in the day, I believed the guys that were using stuff too that were like, no, there's no side effects this, no side effects that. I mean, I watched, you know, an individual just fucking gush blood out of his fucking nose from doing a deadlift because his blood pressure was so high. That's not normal shit. Okay, that's not normal shit. I saw Larry Wheels bleed out of his fucking chest. Okay, he bled out of his chest in his neck. Because the blood took the path of least resistance when he was fucking lifting. His blood pressure was so high, he bled out of his chest and his neck. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're going to be the top in a sport, and he is one of the top in the sport at what you're doing, the risks you have to take are there. You have to take the risks to get the benefits. There's just no doubt about it. But if you're one of the people that are out there that are like, look, I want to look good. I don't want to be a fucking top bodybuilder, you know. My advice to you wholeheartedly right now, if it's not going to change your life for the better, which the drugs absolutely changed my life. I did the damage to my body, and I accept that fact, and I accept whatever comes with it. But when it comes, is it going to be easy for me to deal with? No. So if you're thinking about, well, maybe I should start steroids and stuff, if you're not going to be a pro bodybuilder or, you know, a professional athlete or something like that, no. There's no point. Don't even start it. Stay natural. Do what you can. You know, and build a good physique. I mean, why did I start bodybuilding? I started bodybuilding to put on some muscle, to look better, for girls, for attention, to feel better about myself, all the reasons that everybody else did it, for athletics, you know, to play football, to wrestle. That's why I started lifting. And somewhere along the line, I realized the bigger that I got, the more attention that I got. And the more attention that I got, the more people respected me. The more people respected me, the more they backed off and didn't fuck with me. So I got bigger and bigger. And the bigger I got and the bigger I got, more of that came with it. Until I got to a point where I was so big that it was like a fucking joke. I was walking around looking like a fucking joke. When I walk around these expos, I see these guys red-faced with their arms sticking out looking like they're going to fucking drop dead any second. I now feel bad for them. Whereas before I wanted to be one of them. I only hope that, you know, we realize that the reason we're putting these drugs or any drug in our body that is not for medical reason because you need it is usually for an insecurity or to mask something else. So, John, you know, I give you props, man, for turning everything around and just saying fuck it and doing what you're doing. I think it's brave. I think it's fucking a good idea. And, you know, I've been on that path for a little while now. It's been about 2 or 3 years that I've been on that path where I just walked away from all that stuff, even though I tried to compete still, even on a national level without doing that stuff, and realized it just wasn't going to happen. And sometimes you got to give up one dream in order to realize that you really want to live. So, BicePsTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.bicepstraining.com is the blog. It's the bicep is still there. Not too shabby, and we're out.